The entire bank lobby went silent the moment he picked up the phone. The manager's voice carried through the polished marble hall as he stared at the well-dressed black woman standing at his counter. His smile wasn't nervous, it wasn't uncertain, it was mocking. He gave her 10 seconds. 10 seconds to leave. 10 seconds before he called the police. Customers lifted their phones, security guards stepped closer, and when the officers arrived, they didn't hesitate to grab her arm. But what no one in that bank knew, not the laughing manager, not the officers, not the people recording, was that the woman they were trying to remove owned more that bank than anyone in the building. And in less than 60 seconds, one phone call would change everything. Before we continue, make sure you like this video, share it with someone who needs to see it, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe to Black Legacy for more powerful stories that expose injustice and celebrate truth. The brand sat in the heart of downtown, a towering structure, glass and steel, reflecting the city's ambition back at itself. Inside, everything was polished to perfection. Marble floors gleamed under warm lights. Employees moved with rehearsed efficiency. The air smelled faintly of leather, paper, and expensive cologne. It was a flagship branch of one of the most respected regional banks in the state, a bank with a long history, generational wealth clients, and a reputation for exclusivity disguised as professionalism. That morning, the branch manager arrived earlier than usual. Daniel Whitmore had built his career carefully. He prided himself on control of his staff, of his customers, of every detail inside his domain. His office overlooked the lobby through a transparent glass wall, a quiet symbol of authority. He believed in maintaining a certain standard inside his branch, and he had very specific ideas about who fit that standard. Around 11:17 a.m., the glass doors opened. She stepped in calmly, wearing a tailored burgundy suit, her posture straight, her expression composed. Her curls framed her face with effortless elegance. She carried a structured black briefcase and walked with quiet confidence. A few customers glanced at her, then looked again. She approached the front desk and requested a private meeting regarding a scheduled financial review. The receptionist hesitated. The system showed no appointment under her name. But what the system didn't show, what most people in that building didn't know, was that corporate had recently completed a silent acquisition. A powerful investment firm had purchased a controlling interest in the bank's parent company. The transaction was confidential until the official announcement later that week, and the woman standing at the counter was the chief operating officer of that firm. Her name was Angela Brooks. Angela had built her career navigating rooms exactly like this one, rooms where she was underestimated before she even spoke. She was used to the subtle shifts in tone, the delayed eye contact, the way people asked for verification from her, but not from others. Still, she remained calm. When the receptionist informed Daniel Whitmore that a woman was requesting executive-level account access without a visible appointment, he stepped out personally. He scanned her. His eyes lingered longer than necessary. He asked for identification. She provided it. He glanced at it briefly, dismissively, and returned it without fully reading credentials. He informed her that access to the requested documents required clearance, and that without proof of authorization, she would need to leave. She calmly explained that authorization would come from corporate headquarters. Daniel smiled, the kind of smile that signals dismissal rather than politeness. The lobby grew quieter as tension subtly thickened in the air. Several customers began paying attention. Angela stood firm. Daniel's patience wore thin, not because she was disruptive, but because she refused to shrink. He leaned closer across the desk. He told her she had 10 seconds to leave before he involved law enforcement. Some customers chuckled nervously. Phones were raised. The countdown began. Angela did not move, and Daniel, determined to prove a point, picked up the phone. He called 911, but call escalated faster than anyone expected. Daniel framed the situation as a disturbance, an uncooperative individual refusing to leave private property, a potential security risk. Within minutes, 2 uniformed officers entered the bank. The lobby's energy shifted immediately. Whispers turned into silence. The authority of flashing badges filled the space. Daniel greeted them with confidence. Angela remained still. The officers approached her, asking her to step outside. She requested clarification. Daniel insisted she had no authorization to access executive files and had been warned. Phones recorded from every angle. One officer gently took her arm. Gasps rippled through the room. Angela did not resist. She did not shout. She did not argue. But her eyes, calm, steady, never left Daniel. In that moment, something unsettled him. Not fear, certainty. As they guided her toward the exit, Angela asked for one thing, her phone. Daniel scoffed, but allowed it. She dialed a number from memory. The call connected immediately. On the other end was a chairman of the board, the same chairman who had signed the acquisition documents 3 days earlier, the same chairman who had privately informed senior executives that leadership changes were imminent. Angela spoke calmly. She identified herself, she described the situation clearly, the public humiliation, the unnecessary police involvement, the refusal to verify corporate credentials. She did not raise her voice, she simply relayed facts. Inside the bank, Daniel felt a subtle shift before he understood it. The chairman, blindsided, instructed her to put him on speaker. The officers paused. Customers leaned in. The chairman asked Daniel one question. Why it remove a senior executive of the bank's new majority stakeholder? The color drained from Daniel's face. Murmurs filled the lobby. Angela stood quietly, her arm no longer restrained. The chairman continued, expressing disappointment, concern over liability, and immediate corrective action. In that same call, Daniel Whitmore was terminated, effective immediately. The officers released her. The lobby remained frozen. The man who gave her 10 seconds now had none. The silence that followed was heavier than any argument could have been. Daniel's authority evaporated in real time. Employees stared in disbelief. The officers stepped back, adjusting their posture as the situation clarified. Angela did not celebrate. She did not gloat. She simply stood taller. The chairman instructed regional leadership to place the branch under temporary review. An internal investigation would begin immediately, not just into the incident, but into hiring patterns, complaint histories, and discrimination reports that had quietly accumulated over the years. What surfaced in the following days was disturbing patterns of biased loan denials, internal emails revealing coded language about client image, disproportionate security calls on customers of color. The incident in the lobby had not been isolated. It had been symptomatic. Angela returned to the branch 2 days later, not as a visitor, but as the acting interim executive overseeing structure reform. This time, no one questioned her presence. Training programs were mandated, leadership positions were reevaluated, community oversight committees were formed. The officers who responded that day later admitted to call description had influenced their initial assumption. The branch became a case study, not of embarrassment, but of exposure, because sometimes injustice hides behind professionalism, and sometimes accountability only comes when someone refuses to move. Months later, the bank looked different, not just cosmetically, culturally. Loan approval transparency increased. Community investment initiatives expanded into historically marginalized neighborhoods. Employee diversity in management roles rose significantly. Angela did not publicize the incident, but someone else had. The video recorded by customers that day spread across social media, igniting national conversation about racial profiling in financial institutions. The narrative shifted from one woman being removed to a system being examined. Daniel Whitmore's career never recovered. But for Angela, the moment was never about revenge. It was about precedent, about reminding institutions that power does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it walks in quietly, waits 10 seconds, and changes everything. The lesson was not that she fired him. The lesson was that she never needed to prove she belongs there. She already did. And sometimes the most powerful response to injustice is not anger. It is calm, documented truth. If this story moved you, if it opened your eyes, or if you believe accountability matters, make sure you like this video, share it with someone who needs to see it, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe to Black Legacy for more powerful stories that expose injustice and celebrate truth. Because silence protects systems, but stories change everything.